Hello and welcome to the video. So this is a solid piece of silver from the bygone era. This one ruble is 90% pure of silver. It is 20 grams in weight and bears the portrait of Tsar Nicholas II, the King of Russia. The coins in front of me are made in 1897 and 1898. Both were made in Belgium. And why Belgium? It's because Belgium had the facilities and capabilities to mint a lot of coins for Russia, who was experiencing demand for the ruble. But what history did this coin witness? What events played out in the coin's existence that contributed to the end of the Russian royal family? How did a huge empire fall and turn into the Soviets? Well, I will tell you a brief history of this coin's life. The life of this coin started in the Belgium Mint, along with the other 14 million coins of that year. Even though 14 million is a significant number, most of these coins were melted down during the Soviet era, as they portray the image of Tsar Nicholas II. It symbolizes the dark past of his autocracy and was deeply hated by the Soviets. This 1897 coin was made 3 years after Tsar Nicholas's coronation in 1894, after an unexpected death of the previous Tsar, Tsar Alexander III, his father. Tsar Nicholas was considered timid and vulnerable compared to his father, who had a booming voice and stood very tall. He had the stereotypical traits of a strong leader. Sadly, Tsar Nicholas was never taught how to rule an empire before by his father. However, Tsar Nicholas is known to be a loving father who loved his wife dearly, which was a rare sight because their marriage was arranged. They had a large family of 3 daughters and 1 son. People closest to Tsar Nicholas knew him as a loving person who's intelligent and could speak fluently in Russian, French, English, German, and Danish. However, as king, he made blunders and mistakes that costed him his name. His autocratic position led his belief that he was second to God and was placed to rule Russia with an iron fist. His goal was never to give away his autocratic power. Such events occurred when Tsar Nicholas wanted a quick support from his people by declaring war with Japan. Russia underestimated Japan's tiny size, neglecting the fact that they've rapidly militarized over the years. It was known as the 1905 Russo-Japanese War, which was a humiliating defeat that costed the Russian economy and deeply caused shame to the Russians. It was the first instance where a supergiant power like Russia was beaten by a smaller and puny, weak Japan. Another instance happened in 1905 when a priest led a large peaceful protest of peasants and factory workers to the Tsar's palace in Petrograd. They demanded his attention to help the poor. The response was a mass firing directed at the crowd, which unfortunately killed over 2,000 casualties. The peaceful protest was led to violence and agony. Many marked that day as Bloody Sunday. The trust and sacred image of the Tsar as Little Father became Nicholas the murderer. Historians argued whether the order to shoot at the crowd was from Nicholas himself, but it was too late. The nature of Tsar Nicholas being an autocrat meant that he had solely all the power of Russia on his fingertips. No one else could blame anyone except Tsar Nicholas, and his actions led to an outrage and public cry for change. There could be a possibility that this coin was in the event in the pockets of the guards, who could have shot the crowd, could have been carried by a rich peasant, or a bystander watching from a window. Nevertheless, it's incredible to still see this coin survive through all those tensions and rages within the public. The final blow, however, was World War I, where Tsar Nicholas declared himself Commander-in-Chief, which was the highest rank in the military, even though he had no experience. This led to millions of lives to be on the hands of the Tsar, and his blunders created many deaths and losses. Again, many deaths were personally linked to Tsar Nicholas, who lost more respect from the public. Supplies during the war became extremely limited, until a point where soldiers must use the guns of their fallen men. It was a brutal moment in history, and for this coin to be potentially within the pockets of the fallen comrades is very interesting. There's also a possibility that these soldiers were paid with these rubles. Alright, I'm gonna show a visualization of what this coin could buy within 1890s and 1900s. So the ruble could afford one of such thing. It could buy 10 to 20 kilograms of rye bread, depending on the quality. It could buy 2 to 3 kilograms of beef. It could buy 14 liters of milk. It could buy 50 to 100 eggs. It could buy 30 to 50 kilograms of potatoes. It could buy a simple shirt. It could buy 750 milliliters of vodka, or 5 packs of cigarettes. The ruble had quite a good purchasing power. Now, looking from the hierarchy triangle, the peasants, who make up more than 80% of the Russian society, is less likely to hold these coins. There's an exception to maybe wealthy peasants or wealthy farmers, but most often it's usually urban workers or anyone else up in the hierarchy. Oh, and fun fact, the wear on the rims of the coin is most likely caused by how people passed their coins, by grinding against the table to conduct the transaction. So over time, it kind of filed the silver and create this flat spot. So in summary, just imagine all the hands this coin has ended up on. All the seasons, summer, spring, autumn, winter, that this coin has felt. All the revolutionary movements it has followed throughout Russia's history, and you can own it. This very coin is the physical connection between the end of the Romanovs and today, present day. This coin you hold, or I hold, was at one point the backbone of the Russian economy. It bears the bygone symbol of what remains of the Russian monarchy. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and please subscribe or drop a like. Thank you.